Blah! You are ugly. But what if you weren't? This is the question that we're gonna be tackling in today's video. Uglies is a brand new movie released on Netflix, hoping to cash in on the hip and new teen dystopian trend, which it only missed by about a decade. I'm upset I didn't take a picture of it. Hopefully the editor will visualize this on the screen somehow. But when Netflix recommended this to me, they literally had like a tagline underneath it that said something along the lines of, "This is for people who love Hunger Games and Divergent." We made it for people who like these two movies. They knew that I made that video where I watch every teen dystopian franchise, all the Hunger Games, all the Maze Runners, all the Divergents, and we're like, let's make another one just for him. The movie is based on a 2005 novel of the same name by Scott Westerfield. I haven't read it, so I guess that means I'm gonna get a bunch of comments of people being mad at me for not getting things that were more clearly put in the book. But guess what? I don't need to read the book. I just watched the trailer for this movie, and that pretty much reveals the entire plot of this thing. Literally shows everything, beat by beat. Anything you might be surprised by, it's in the trailer, baby. There's this group called The Smoke, which the movie attempts to make you believe that they're bad at first, but then as the plot goes on, you find out that they're chill. The trailer just shows you that. You know that they're chill from the get-go. This is like Netflix's way of saying, yeah, you've seen a movie like this before, Divergent. You know the tropes, this was never gonna surprise you anyways. And they're right. The movie is about a world where everyone until the age of 16 is considered an ugly, but then when they reach 16, they do a big old operation, and now they're suddenly a pretty. And that's great. Or is it? The movie stars Joey King, she's playing a girl named Tally. A girl who's supposed to be 15, but is clearly 25, which isn't as bad as her love interest knows. Yes, that's what everyone calls him, who's also supposed to be 15, but is closer to 40. What the heck? The beginning of this movie decides to give you as much information as humanly possible.
All my life, I wanted to be pretty. I thought it would change everything. My story today began in the past.
This is an incredibly experimental movie that dares to break Hollywood's oppressive show don't tell rule. I remember when I watched Maze Runner as part of that video I did. In the start of it, our protagonist is going up this elevator. His memory's been wiped. He doesn't know what the f is going on. All these people are staring at him. There's this sense of confusion, and then we learn more things about this world as we go forward into it. I think that's bad, actually. I think they should have done a scene where the guy from Maze Runner is like, I remember back in the day, I was confused, and I went up this elevator thing, and then everyone looked at me, and then I felt even more confused. I'll summarize some of the stuff she says. The world became bad because the people of the past, which are called, what are they called again?
We call those people Rusties.
Oh yeah, that's what we call them. We call them the Rusties. This movie really ticks off the big tropes early on. We got dumb teen dystopian names, you know, Rusties, Uglies, and Pretties. You gotta have a dumb name in your teen dystopian movie. It's the law. These people, they came at night and they stole all the mud. That's why we call them the mudders. You got the useless exposition. I say useless because it genuinely serves no use. I think less than 10 minutes into the movie, they just give out the same information again.
During the time of the Rusties, dependence on fossil fuel decimated the Earth, which resulted in division, conflict, and their ultimate collapse.
We learned that there was a huge time of conflict, but then the smart people from the future, which is actually the present, if not slightly the past for our protagonist, they banded together and they came up with this incredible, airtight solution to all of their problems. What if, and hear me out on this one, what if we make it so everyone is as pretty as each other, and then there won't be a reason for people to fight each other, and there won't be prejudice.
And when everyone is perfect, conflict melts away.
Okay, here's the thing. Obviously, this doesn't make any goddamn sense, and that is set up to be, you know, embedded in the lesson that we're gonna learn later on. But, like, it really doesn't make sense. Like, really doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever on any planet.
During the time of the Rusties, dependence on fossil fuel decimated the Earth.
How would changing everyone into looking all hot solve the fossil fuel problem? Could everyone personally go out and steal fossil fuels to cover their BBLs? I guess if I'm trying to give this some sort of legitimacy, maybe the regime in this movie made everyone think that this is a thing that makes sense by controlling the information that the public receives. I guess that in Uglies and in real life as well, we're constantly surrounded by highly crafted fake realities, which is why I chose to partner with today's sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that aggregates news from various sources and gives you critical information about each source's bias, factuality, ownership. If we take a look at this story about how Blade Runner 2049's producers sued Tesla and Elon Musk for allegedly creating AI scenes based off of their movie, we can see that right-leaning news outlets put more of an emphasis on referring to Musk as a mogul and an innovator during this article, while left-leaning ones put a big emphasis on the producer's reputation damage concerns due to Musk's recent, quote, highly politicized behavior. Often, the media that I talk about here is reported on by the same companies that have made said media. And this is information that you can find using Ground News very easily. They also have a blind spot feed which shows you news stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. Go to ground.news/Pinely to give it a try. If you sign up through my link, you'll get 40% off the Vantage plan, which is what I use to get unlimited access to all the features. I think Ground News is doing important work, and I hope you check them out. Tally's best friend / this movie's hunk is Nose, as we've established earlier, the 32-year-old man who's tricked everybody that he's actually a teenager. But I'm on to him.
No matter how beautiful they make you, the ghost of that giant nose will haunt you forever.
Now, this is probably the right time to address the elephant in the room. This guy has a normal nose. This guy has a normal nose, everybody. He's got a normal nose, and he's a conventionally attractive man. In fact, the main uglies are, at the end of the day, not all that ugly. There's not gonna be any baby that's gonna look at any of these people and is gonna run away, because babies mainly can't run. This is not a very fresh take. A lot of people have been saying this, and the director of this movie, Mech G, that's all right. Everyone's got crazy names today. I guess that's not as dumb as Pinely. Or Dracula. I'm Dracula in this video. McG is well aware his movie features a cast of conventionally attractive people. That's precisely why we did it. It's because we're saying it's never enough. While McG said you can't get more beautiful than his cast, he added, we're saying that's not the point. There's always somebody or something there to nitpick. Which I get. This is sort of like a heightened, weird universe where all the beauty standards are very, very extreme. But I do think that there are better ways to showcase this. The uglies don't really feel like they feel that ugly, I guess. The Substance, which stars Demi Moore, also has a very gorgeous person who thinks that they're hideous. And you can feel it in that movie. I mean, that movie is very extreme, but you can feel the self-loathing even before the movie gets truly bat. We flash back to the first moment they've met, and my god, do these two just hit it off straight from the get-go.
I'm Paris, but everyone calls me Nose.
I'm Tally.
But what are we gonna call you?
Just Tally, I think. That's just my name. Usually you could call someone by their name.
Squint.
Oh, okay. I guess Squint. I guess you could call me Squint from here on out forever. Squint/Tally and this ugly man agreed to meet in 1 month on some bridge when they're both pretties, since Nose is getting his operation a bit earlier than Tally. He's a few months older than her. He's a little bit older. A few months older than 15. 20 years, who's to say? Obviously, it's not anything new when you see, adults playing teenagers in movies, but I do feel like this misses an opportunity in a way. This movie kind of tackles the sort of societal expectations that especially teenagers face going into adulthood. I remember when I was a teenager, I felt like this sort of middle creature kind of thing between being cute and looking like an adult. I just felt like this thing that needs to be molded more so. But by having actors that are very clearly not that age, I think it's losing the chance to do something pretty interesting. It feels like this is all done in the name of acquiring your classic sort of teen dystopian hunk. Nose goes off to do his operation, and Tally/Squint doesn't hear anything from this 16-year-old boy for quite a while. He didn't even go to that bridge like how they planned that they would. So Squint devises a plan. She'll go on into the city, and without a real plan, she's just gonna go into the city and walk around until hopefully she runs into this guy. You know, cities famously not that big. She sneaks into this pretty side of town by having this pig mask on, and it looks pretty awesome over there. It actually looks a lot like this, like the Megalopolis city, like the city Megalopolis from the incredible movie Megalopolis. Ellie goes in there and experiences these people's life for just a moment, and it seems pretty great from up close. It looked pretty great from afar, but it looks even better from up close. Which begs the question, is it that dystopian over there? Or is it kind of great? All these pretty people are really happy. I think that's probably because the operation gives them brain damage. So maybe that's a bit dystopian, but they're having a blast. She finally meets Nose, but now his nose is not horrible anymore. I thought it was fine from the get-go, but now his nose is really good. He's got a good nose. So now his name is just Paris, which is his actual name. He's all yassified now. They fully yassified this guy. Like, I think that's what the beauty standards are. He just kind of looks like Ollie London. So is looking normal, is that the bad thing? But when you look like a yassified Ollie London, is that what the beauty standards are in this universe? I've been really trying to crack into this, figure out what the f are these people on about? Why did they do this? The beauty standards over there feel like a very binary sort of situation. And that is to say, there isn't like you'd expect that in a place that needed such an extreme solution, for there to be some sort of hierarchy within the Uglies. For the Uglies to treat each other as like, oh, you're like tier 5 ugly, but you're tier 1 ugly, so you're not that bad. But no, you don't really get that. They're all as ugly as each other, and all the pretties are considered as pretty as each other.
Beautiful and free from hatred and discrimination based on the way that you look.
Maybe if we saw the pretties and the uglies interacting with each other, and then the uglies being looked down upon, maybe then I would have felt like this is a thing that exists. And then, oh wait. Oh man, it's my grandmother. She's been messaging me a lot recently. When are you gonna hit 600k, loser boy? She keeps teasing me for the sub count thing, and then she sent me a photo of her flipping me off. I don't know, Grandma. After Squint's big stunt in the city, she ends up running into this person.
Get on or we'll both get caught.
These two meet each other and they hit it off straight from the get-go, which feels a bit unnatural and forced, but I also think the actors sell that chemistry pretty well. That person's name is Skinny, like Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad, but a real human name is Shay. I kind of like that, you know, when you're a teenager and you meet someone and you're like, you're my favorite person in the whole world. Let's hang out and do everything together. They find out that they have the same birthday.
Wait, September 9th. No way. We have the same birthday.
So that's pretty awesome. Her friendship with Skinny Pete or what are anyone's names in this? Her friendship with Skinny Pete or Shay sends Tally or Squint. Too many names and nicknames going on here. I'm just gonna use the real names of everyone from here on out, besides Nose, because he has a funny name. So I'm gonna keep on calling him Nose. That friendship sends her down a crazy path. Shay teaches her how to ride a CGI skateboard. They kind of look like rubber CGI people, and I think that's great. And my gosh, Tally's just a natural. Look at her go. At some point in this movie, Tally talks to a bunch of her friends, and they mention this guy called David.
David took them personally.
And I'm like, oh, okay, they're talking about their friend or something. But then someone's like,
The David?
and I just found that really funny. Just the most kind of like normal name. It's not like his name is like Xbox. If his name was Xbox, I'd be like, the Xbox? Shay, Tally's new friend, tries to convince her to go with her to meet the David.
The David?
And join this group called The Smoke. This community that lives off the grid, away from this weird dystopian solution that I still don't understand what it solves or how it goes. Tally's a bit unsure about this.
Shay, I just think that you're afraid to grow up. I'm afraid to stop growing.
That's a good line. I think that's one of my favorite lines in this movie. I like that line. Thank you. This movie is so similar to Divergent that I was actually kind of losing my mind at times. This movie gives such a similar vibe to the Divergent series, which, if you remember, when I did that video where I ranked all the teen dystopian movies, those 3 films were like at the very bottom of that list. Fucking Divergent! Here are the similarities I noticed off of vaguely remembering the Divergent movies. I wrote this down on my iPad. 1. The exposition bit. It's the same.
They say the war was terrible, that the rest of the world was destroyed.
They squandered Earth's natural resources, and the planet quickly descended into chaos and war.
The main character is a teenager that's not actually a teenager, and she can just do anything. No explanation. We'll talk about that later. But she's also like not defined enough. We don't get enough of her qualities. But she's just like good at everything, and you don't really know why. 3. There's a 30-year-old teenage hunk with a dumb name. And this movie is called Nose, and the other one I think he's called 4. I think it's either 4 or 7, it's some number. His name is a number.
Exactly like the number.
I think it's 4. Number 4, at the age of 16, you move to a different group in society, which happens because of some operation. They do an operation on you, which activates something, or does a thing. 5, you can kind of go to any room. We'll see this later when they do all their rebellion stuff, but like, you don't need to like, I don't think there's locks on anything. Like, it's not that hard to do rebellion stuff in this universe. And lastly, it also has really bad ADR, the kind of added dialogue on the scene.
Hey, look who's here. Why is she back? She's gonna be here forever.
Look who's here, oh my god. So embarrassing. Is he recording a YouTube video again? What a loser. Shay ends up leaving Tally to join the Smoke and stay an Ugly forever, or just a normal. I think if she's not part of that society, she's just a normal now. And Tally's like, whatever, man. I'm gonna stay here, wait for my 16th birthday, and I'm gonna get yassified. Try to stop me. So then someone stops her.
I'm so sorry to delay your surgery.
This is Dr. Cable, played by Laverne Cox. Hands down, my favorite performance in this whole movie. She looks great, she has charisma, she's ferocious.
You did realize she wasn't in the waiting room.
I thought she must have been sick, or something like that.
Is that what you thought?
This adds to my theory that turning into Pretty might not be that bad, They all have this like cool vibe to them. Although, I'd say Dr. Cable probably didn't get the brain damage part of the operation. She seems pretty smart.
We believe she's been brainwashed by a man named David.
The David? Anyways, Dr. Cable is like, all right, come on now. I want you to go ahead and I want you to betray your friend, Skinny Pete. Can you do that for me? And then Tally's like, oh, I don't really know if I feel like doing that. I'm just gonna go home now if that's okay with you. So she goes home, but then she gets a surprise visit by Ollie Nosden.
They're after me about my friend Shay. And apparently I can't get surgery until I tell them where she is.
So just tell them everything you know.
So she's like, okay, you know what? You're right. So then, and I'm not exaggerating at all, less than 2 minutes after she was at the exact same location, she's back there again, like in the same setting, sitting in the same seat as before.
I'm glad you decided to help us, Tally.
And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna do this now, which feels really weird pacing-wise. Like, imagine you're watching a heist movie. Hey, you should really do a heist. I don't really think I want to. Oh, my wife, I don't know if I should do the heist. Oh, come on now. Why not? Go do heist. I'm gonna do the heist now. Okay. That's almost exactly how it plays out. It feels comedic almost. I think because if we look at the scene, Tally's wearing the exact same thing. And I know they're all wearing uniforms in this world, but she has like the same strap sort of thing on her chest. She's sitting in the exact same location. I think that there was some sort of reshoot situation going on. I don't know which bit, but it all feels too weird for it not to be that. It's bizarre. So Dr. Capel then decides to hinge her entire plan of taking down this rebellion on this one random teenage girl.
I need you to find the smoke.
She sends a girl that she clearly doesn't trust on a top secret mission to infiltrate the smoke. Why not someone she does trust? I don't understand anyone's motivations in this. Why would she think that she'd be successful at this and not betray her? Just so you understand how much this plan puts trust in Tally. Here's what Tally ends up doing right after this talk. Here's what she expects her to do, essentially. She, a now 16-year-old random teenager, is expected to professionally CGI skateboard her way on a roller coaster, which goes great. She's then expected to survive the dangerous woods. And then, and I was really taken aback by this, she was expected to free solo, no straps, no harnesses, no nothing, this really f***ing steep cliff. I climbed for a year or so. This would be f***ing impossible for me to do with the harnesses and everything. She's just lived in a concrete room her entire life. What exactly has prepared her to do one of the most physically and mentally demanding sports out there? Every year, about 30 people die from free soloing. This is a very, very dangerous activity. I do not believe this for 1 second. Who do you think you are, Tally? Before her journey, Dr. Cable gives her this beautiful gift. She gives her this lovely necklace.
Oh, ow!
Once you found the weapon, signal us with this necklace.
She gives her the necklace so Tally can send a signal to rat on her friend, but actually, I think she believes that it's to save her friend from the smoke. That's the lie that she's told. But also, why did it blind her? Why is that a feature that's embedded into this AirTag necklace? This is a good chance for me to bring up everyone's favorite weekly segment on this channel. I'm gonna rate this dystopian technology and aesthetic. It's time for me to rate technology and aesthetic of the movie Uglies. Floating skateboard that turns you into a CGI person that flops around, 10 out of 10. Obviously. You already know this next one, the city that looks like Megalopolis, but it's pink. Pinkalopolis, 10 out of 10. When Tally eventually finds Shay and joins the smoke, but she's actually ratting on them, they take her out on a secret mission, and then the helicopter does this to Shay. There's something f***y about that helicopter. It makes her fall. It's really funny. For the funny level that technology creates, I'd give it a 10. But on a practical level, that's a bad feature, 0 out of 10. One of the most confusing pieces of technology, though, has to be this pill that she takes at some point.
Give me the toothbrush pill, please.
1 toothbrush pill.
She says, toothbrush pill, please. Notice that she doesn't say toothpaste pill or mouth cleaning pill, which means that she just swallowed a very tiny toothbrush. To try and rationalize her tracking device necklace to the smoke, Tally says that she got it from Nose.
He just wanted a way to recognize me after the surgery. It's not a big deal.
And people accept this reasoning, which goes to show that no one really understands the concept of names in this movie. So like the trailer showed us, Tally eventually manages to infiltrate the smoke.
Who are you?
I'm David.
The David? I think she's just a part of the smoke. I think she likes it there. Pretty early on, I think she understands that it's pretty good over there. She seems confused, really confused, which I guess makes sense. You're leaving your entire way of life to help this girl you went skateboarding with this one time. There's a big problem of pacing here. This exists in a lot of book adaptations. There's not enough time for things to sit as well as they did in the book. You can end it off with the person, but to risk your life in such a dramatic way for them. When everyone else in the smoke starts accepting Tally, this one bald guy is still doubting her.
I just want to know how the scouts found us. Right after Miss Solo here makes her journey.
And everyone, especially Shay, are Nah, come on now. Let's take this girl out on a secret mission. Maybe this is the smart thing to do.
You sure you want to take her up?
I vouch for her.
The audience hasn't really learned enough about these characters to understand why they'd go through such great lengths to help each other. Is Tally a particularly virtuous person? Is Shay? What are Tally's qualities besides the fact that she's able to absolutely f***ing conquer that cliff? Free Solo style. Okay, now this is why I wanted you guys to remember the necklace. Tally seems to spend a while with the smoke to the point where I'd say that she's essentially a full part of the team now. I think she spends a lot of time with them. It could also be a day. There's a weird sense where you don't really understand how much time has happened at any point. Some key events during her time with the smoke are that David, yes, the David, eventually becomes the new hunk.
I move.
Ah, see? I stand corrected. Wow.
Tally seems to be falling in love with the guy, even though he's ugly. He's an ugly guy. But he's not in real life, but in this movie, he's an ugly. David shows her where their base camp is, and then there's a speech fully detailing what this movie's about.
Where we believe in preserving what's natural, they believe in manipulation. Before you came here, how many times a day did you think about how you looked?
And then we see more of her falling in love with David even further. They're definitely trying to set up a Peeta Gale sort of love triangle for this movie series as well. And you know what? I respect it. I guess. Tally at some point shows them how to how to treat a deep cut wound. How does she know to do all these things? She's a teenager. How's she lived enough of a life to be able to do these incredible skills that take a lot of time? How is she more skilled at this than any other person in this camp? She's grown up in a concrete box. Tally gets in so deep that she eventually meets David's family, his parents.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But you both look so much like David.
I actually quite like this scene of David hanging out with his family and her seeing, you know, what a real family looks like. There's this lovely sense of warmth compared to what we've seen in the city. Tally finds out that there's a cure to all this that removes your brain damage and brings you back your depression.
We were invited to the inner circle where we were given a cure to make us whole thinkers again.
And throughout all of this, she's been still wearing that goddamn necklace. Like a rat. Like a goddamn rat. She knew that they're good for a while. She knew that the other guys are bad for a while. And yet she still kept the fucking necklace. After finding out, I guess every single detail, like the fact that there's a cure and the fact that the operation makes you a really dumb person, she's like, oh shit, oh, maybe I should get rid of this necklace, and she throws it into the fire. She throws the necklace into the fire inside the camp. Like an idiot. Maybe, and I know this is an awkward conversation to have, but maybe you should tell everybody that you've been wearing a beacon this entire time. Anyways, guess what happens almost immediately afterwards?
What are you doing?
Don't do it, Nose. Remember who you are.
You didn't tell me that you would hurt anyone.
What did you think would happen? You literally just learned that they're really bad people. Why didn't you tell everyone that you did the thing with the beacon? You destroyed the tracker from within the camp. Of course they're gonna find you. She runs off and she manages to get away just because the bad guys are just kind of standing around there. She doesn't do anything smart or anything like that. David also manages to get away and Tally's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing that I got your dad killed. That's so embarrassing.
I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I fell in love with this place.
She fell in love with this place, so how about you give everyone a heads up? If you loved them so much.
What's your plan?
I'm going to get them.
Coming with you.
No, you're not.
David, you've never been to the city. I have. Your mother is being taken to a building I've been inside of.
Yeah, she's been to that building, I guess, as a prisoner. So David's like, you know, I'm still pretty upset that you single-handedly destroyed our rebellion and you let the Shay getting kidnapped and you also got my dad's neck snapped and you also got my mom was kidnapped as well. But, yeah, sure. Let's do this plan that you're putting up here. They break in because, like Divergent, all the doors are unlocked, and they get to Shay. Shay's had the operation at this point, and then there's this scene where they see her, and it's supposed to be this, like, you know, sort of sickening, horrible revelation. Like, what have they done to her? But there's one problem, and I don't use this word a lot, but I don't have a better one for this context. They meet Shay, and she just slays way too hard.
Tally, breathe.
Tally, breathe. I want that on a shirt or something. I'm a huge fan. She's so cool, man. It's great. Anyways, they eventually sort of win and sort of lose. Luckily, this building has the same security as all the buildings in Divergent, as we've already established. So they just go ahead and they just take the cure, this like one thing that can destroy this entire empire. They've just left it in an open cabinet, in a glass cabinet that is unlocked. They just open it and take it. Thank God it wasn't like in a safe or something, because then they'd have to think of a smart way to solve this problem. If I had to boil down one of the biggest problems with the writing of this movie, it's this. I've been rewatching Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul recently, and something that's like kind of like the core of writing that they do a lot over there is they put the characters in this sort of impossible, unwinnable sort of situation. You know, you got two characters stuck in the desert, their vehicle's broken down, they don't have any food or water. How the hell are they gonna get out of that? Seeing the characters manage to get themselves out of that situation is A, really interesting and entertaining to watch, and B, ends up teaching us a lot about these characters that we're watching. Obviously, these are two of the most critically acclaimed shows of all time, and Uglies isn't really going for that, but I still think that this doesn't really have any stakes. If the characters solve every problem with incredible ease just because now's the time in the story where they're expected to solve a problem, then you're just kind of left with an empty feeling. Another part of the movie that gives me that feeling is just the fact that you don't really get to hang out with the teen dystopian premise too much. In Hunger Games, you get to have the Hunger Games before we see the rebellion stuff. In Maze Runner, we get to run through a maze before we get the rebellion stuff. I understand that the rebellion stuff must happen at some point of any teen dystopian movie. It's the law. But I just do wish that there was more weight to that first bit of the movie, that we actually feel the consequences of what a world like that yields. Maybe if she was like a full-on spy for the pretties, maybe if she was like a pretty wearing a makeup thing or something, maybe in that way she would have carried the consequences of that world into the camp, but she just feels like a normal girl, you know? And I think that if she would have come in more determined that her reality is the correct one, maybe her being proven otherwise would have felt more impactful. And it would have made more sense, the fact that she's betrayed these people in the way that she did. At the end of the movie, Tally turns into a pretty so she can go undercover in the next movie, which, you know, I think could probably work better than this. Like, as a premise, I think this is a bit more interesting than what we've seen in this one. I hope so. She gets that big free apartment, which looks amazing, by the way. Is this communism? Is this what communism is? I don't know if it is, because no one does like any work at all. They all just get great apartments and then they go and they party and they're pretty. I guess they're pretty. I mean, they just look yassified. Please subscribe.